Actually, I should start recording this before I keep talking.
Good call.
Now I'm recording, and let's try that again. Hey everyone! We have quite an unusual cast here with OptimusTom, and he is actually watching the stream casting with me because he herped it and did not have the Tournament Realm downloaded. So,
sorry.
It's going to be a little awkward, but it will work. And we have EA versus FactSet, and EA decided to choose home teams, so they chose blue side, which gives FactSet first pack too. I guess that works. And we have bans for Graves, Wukong, Skarner, Alistair, Rims, and Shen. I'm surprised to see like no Shaco ban or anything like that. So it'll be quite interesting to see who they pick. And unfortunately, it does get a little messy seeing the picks and bans like this. But you will see the picks. I mean, obviously as clear as day when we actually get into the selection. And we have a first pick for Shyvana. How do you feel about that? After seeing Shyvana twice today, Optimus, how do you feel about her?
Oh, I'm ready to see more of Miss Dragon Lady in these games. She's an excellent top laner, as we saw her being played earlier in the Go for LoL tournament, but she's also an excellent jungler for the fact she has the mobility, she has the speed, and she has the capability of counter jungling people very, very hard. So I absolutely love the Shyvana pick if they choose to be super aggressive with her. She's not one of those champions you really want she can just sit in the top lane and really outfarm depending on the matchup, but she's really one of those people you want to play aggressively as, whether it's counter jungling or, you know, just being in the jungle and just ganking with a lot of opportunity. So I like the Shyvana pick. I like picking it first. I'm not too sure because you might be able to pick someone up top who can counter her. But, you know, this way they don't know if they're going to be going for a jungle Shyvana or a solo top Shyvana. So
I'm really hoping to see an Udyr pick out of that set because it'll be just like earlier. And then also an Orianna middle, which would just make my day.
It would absolutely. And then on the bottom, we could see some sort of new Kog'Maw bottom playing. It'd just be like all the other matches we've cast today.
So true. And EA is actually picking up Morgana and Soraka. And I'm actually going to check out their profiles because I can see what they played. And we see, let's see, Gatsby has played Volibear before. And we have a Graves out of Biggle Buns. I'm trying to see actually who is their AP carry. And trying to check if they have any Morgana. So we have Sona for Nerevar. Actually, I remember casting that game. And we have, okay, so yeah, I remember this game. So Messiah is actually AP carry, so he will be running Morgana middle, and Nerevar will be running that Soraka bottom. In terms of that Shyvana, since I'm not exactly sure who's the jungler yet, or if she will be jungling, I'm going to go ahead and leave that open at the moment. And we see a Sona Rise. Interesting.
Ooh, I kind of like that pick. First off, I'm surprised Morgana was left open in the picks and bans process on top of that Shaco pick. I'm actually surprised there was a Wukong ban. That must be a target at somebody on one of the other teams. But Morgana and Rise going in the middle. Morgana does have that black shield in order to give her resistance against things like Rise's Runic Prison. It is going to give her a chance to absorb some of the magic. Or Runic?
Rune?
Is it just Rune Prison? Runic Prison?
Sorry, I have to give you a hard time. I just have to.
Oh, that's absolutely fine. Don't worry about it. I mean, I'm casting off of your stream over here, so.
It's a little awkward.
But she's going to be able to resist the crowd control effects with the shield up. She's also going to be able to absorb any magic damage. So Rise is just going to kind of sit back and farm and not really... He can lay some harass down on the Morgana when the shield's off cooldown. However, it's not going to be as free as a harass as it would be against a pick such as a Veigar or something like that in the middle. So Rise just being like the safe choice, I think, from FactSet.
Yeah, if they're ever gonna try to get a nice Sona ult off, they really need to make sure to burn that black shield down before they ulti, or they need to make sure to do it like when it's on cooldown. And we see their last pick is actually Lee Sin and Riven, so I'm assuming Riven will be top lane and Lee Sin will be jungling, which in all of AHGL so far, I've seen a lot of Lee Sin. It seems like every team really likes his playstyle and really likes his ability to gank, and I'm kind of curious to see who FactSet's actually going to pick up for their jungler or top lane. And then their AD carry.
I absolutely love that Lee Sin pick, especially if he's also, you know, I'm all about the early aggression. If you're going to hear that from me over and over again. And Lee Sin, a lot of Lee Sins I've seen starting at blue buff, and I don't necessarily like that. I like the Lee Sins who start at red buff and they gank the closest lane at level 2. That's my favorite kind of Lee Sin. So hopefully we could see EA playing that sort of style of Lee Sin. And then if that Shyvana is going into the jungle, Lee Sin on the opposite jungle, that's kind of a counter to the counter jungle because Lee Sin can do as much work in an enemy jungle as the Shyvana can.
Counterception.
Counter jungleception. That's right. I'm going to be counter jungling your jungle while you're in my jungle, but it's really your jungle.
My head just exploded. I tried actually like rationalizing that and could not come up with anything. And we see
Ooh.
Shyvana, Sona, Ryze, Aurelia, and Ashe. So Aurelia will be top lane against this Riven. And we also will see Shyvana in the jungle against that Lee Sin. And I want to actually go ahead and check right now to see who plays what for... Actually, I can't check that because they don't have a previous game played for me. But we will find out in game
Yes,
who
we
plays
will.
what.
How do you feel about that Aurelia versus Riven matchup? That's gonna be a lot of people jumping around back and forth up top.
It's going to be awesome. There's going to be swords flying everywhere, people dashing everywhere,
That's an in-depth analysis. It's gonna be
stuns going
awesome.
off. That's the best kind of analysis, I think. And apparently
But
getting
yes,
messages that maybe my stream... Oh. Killing me.
what's going on now?
Sorry, I was
Oh
actually
no.
checking. I got messages on Skype, and that typically means to me that like something's wrong with my stream, so...
Okay, no, I saw what the message on Skype was, and that's a little frustrating.
Wait, what message was it?
I saw a message from somebody on there, but
Oh, okay. All right.
yeah.
So we
But
have Morgana versus Ryze. We have Soraka, and actually EA has not picked their AD carry yet. So, and against an Ashe and a Sona. I mean, I mean at level 6 they do have double stun, but you can harass that Ashe so easily. And ooh, Kog'Maw. Interesting, Kog'Maw Soraka. I don't know. Remember we ran into that earlier, Kog'Maw Soraka, and just Kog'Maw didn't have the protection that was needed.
yeah, Kama just wasn't getting the real protection. I believe it just went through the entire team comp as well. I don't forget exactly who they had in the jungle, but that really didn't give any extra support to the Kog'Maw. The armor buff from Soraka, people think is normally enough, but the thing is, at level 1 or level 2, that Soraka's heal has like a 20-second cooldown on it. So if you make Soraka waste that heal at an inopportune time, you can then, while it's on cooldown for 20 seconds, have free reign over harassing that Kog'Maw. And that's a position Kog'Maw does not want to be in, especially in the early game in the laning phase. That Kog'Maw gets out-harassed. He's going to get out-CS. He's not going to be able to scale into the late game the way he wants to. And then he's just going to be bursted down in fights, and all of a sudden your range carry and that main DPS into the mid and late game stages is completely nullified. And your team's really fighting an uphill battle after that one.
I'm really hoping to see... well, first of all, most Ashes, if you run an Ashe, you have to run with like a Janna, because your early game, if you can get a Janna shield with your, with Ashe's passive, which is going to be 100% crit, you can really force force the AD carry to play really passive by chunking them really hard. And it'll be really interesting to see that Kog'Maw does have some pretty good protection, though. He has a Morgana, at least in a Riven. So we have stuns from Riven, we have an ulti and snares from Morgana, and we have Lee Sin slow, not to mention his kick. So if Kog'Maw plays it right, which I don't remember who it is that's playing AD carry for them, it should be really interesting. If he can just position correctly, he'll be completely fine. And in terms of FactSet, just that Ashe will have a really good initiate, and if that Aurelia can keep up and farm top, she could easily jump onto that like Kog'Maw or something and back it up like a Stone ultimate to really shut them down while they take out Kog'Maw. It really could go both ways, but I don't know, it'd be really hard for them to burst or to get through all that tinky deeps they got going.
Well, the thing is, it's going to be interesting to see how Shyvana and Aurelia really play out in those team fights. Both of them are kind of tanky DPS characters that do need some sort of farm in order for them to get to that really tanky part. And both of them are champions that could really easily jump onto that Kog'Maw. Now, the rest of the team composition, Ashe, Sona, and Ryze, not necessarily the beefiest champions in the world. Although that Ryze, if he just starts building straight mana, will be able to get stuff like a Frozen Heart and a Banshee's Tail to make himself kind of like a pseudo tank in the middle of fights. So it's going to be interesting to see if that Aurelia, since she has the dash capabilities to just jump onto that Kog'Maw, if her and Ryze are really able to separate the support and the AD from the rest of that fight, Shyvana, Ashe, and Sona might have a very easy time dealing with the rest of the champions being thrown at them from EA. So it could wind up working out in their favor, but that bottom lane is going to be a point of contention the entire game. Both those champions are ones that you kind of want to protect, especially Kog'Maw. But I'm going to have to give the slight edge to Ashe and Sona just because they have the extra little poke damage to really harass around that Kog'Maw. And if Kog'Maw doesn't get his farm, then we already talked about what's going to happen in the late game because of that.
I'll have to disagree with you like that, or with you.
Ooh,
actually, because Kog'Maw, with the Soraka, he can spam his ulti like almost all day at bottom lane. And if he's good with his ultimate, then he can really wither down that Ashe and force that Sona to use all of her mana healing. And he does outrange her really far with his W up. So, I don't know. And I don't think bottom lane is going to be that interesting, to be honest. I think it's going to be a farm fest down there, and I think all the action's going to be happening at top with Aurelia and Riven, and then depending on where the junglers go as well.
Well, let's see here. Lee Sin had been picked up by EA,
Correct.
correct? And EA is blue team, correct?
Correct.
So that means that Lee Sin, if he starts at that red buff's gonna have a really easy level 2/level 1 gank on that bottom lane. That's what
Correct.
I want to see. That's what I want to see. That's what I think is gonna be interesting.
Well, I don't care what's interesting. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh.
And currently we're just.
Interesting. Watching you pull things up on your stream because I'm watching the stream.
I was just checking. I have a phone call, so I'm gonna mute my mic real quick. I wonder who's calling me. 1 second.
No problem. Hopefully it's someone that is trying to figure out where the referee is for this match.
Apparently, I just won something.
Did they tell you that you had to give them information about your car insurance or something like that?
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's always fun. I like getting those calls in the middle of work, especially when they're in a foreign language.
It was a recording with a guy that was super excited. He was like, "Hello and congratulations to all members of California. You have just won." I'm like, "Really?" Hang up.
All members of California.
Yeah, pretty much all residents. I think was the term.
I was gonna say I didn't realize you had to sign up to be part of California.
Yeah, it's actually a team. It's actually an organization.
Ooh, really?
Mm-hmm.
What's the philosophy behind the team?
Winning.
Okay, I thought it was Bay Life.
Oh no, never say that. No, oh.
You would definitely not like my desktop background then.
I face palmed right there. I'm not gonna lie.
That's fine. That's what I do. Make you face palm. I don't have the client downloaded. Make you face palm. I have to cast off your stream. Might as well just round it all out with more face palms.
Sorry, look, we're just waiting for the ref right now, but apparently he's not responding. And I don't think I'm actually able to submit the score, which I think what the ref does, but I'll be able to do that through someone else. I keep seeing Skype messages, and I really want to check it, but I really don't want
to. It's actually a little group. They're just more people being added.
Ah, jeez. Oh, I do run Elva Replay. And yeah, I am running it. So hopefully this match will be actually starting really soon. And we see EA sporting the mountain avatars. And FactSet, I don't know, the Team Unity is kind of disappointing. We got two mountains. We got like a sword with angel wings. We got a teddy bear and a rose.
Listen, they're all about diversity, especially in their champion picks. So I don't know. I'm all for different icons. I like the unity of EA. It shows that they've really worked together as a team. That mountain really suggests that there is no obstacle too tall to conquer. I don't know though. Their teamwork might really shine through. We're gonna have to see in the game once we get this started.
Ain't no mountain high.
I'm really glad you started singing it instead of me.
That's what I was thinking of. Ain't no valley low enough. Ain't no river wide enough to keep me from face palming to you.
Oh.
All right, looks like we're getting started here, and luckily the viewers or listeners can actually have their hearing back after hearing me and my amazing singing.
I don't know. I could listen to that all day, but that's just my day.
Look at FactSet. 3 people running Exhaust Ghost. Wow, look at that unity. Their avatars don't match, but their summoner spells do.
Ooh, yeah. Taking a quick look at that, that is really interesting. Although they have no games played on the tournament server, so maybe that's just the default.
It could be, but I was hoping otherwise.
Not sorry. I had to rain on your parade since you're constantly raining on mine.
Well, I'm happy to see that Cogman's actually using Cleanse here. They have a Sona stun, they have an Ash stun, they have a Rise Prison, and they have a stun, or Rise Prison? Rune Prison from Rise, and a stun from Aurelia. And we're actually seeing Heal Clairvoyance out of FactSet Yam. So she is very susceptible to ganks, especially with Lee Sin, who will be starting, or if he does start red buff, he will easily be able to get there, and especially if she doesn't ward early, it could spell disaster for her. And I'm seeing Cleanse on Rise. I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest. They have 1 stun on EA. I would think a teleport would be nice, or better.
I don't know. Oh, locking in with Cleanser. I thought maybe he was just doing some masteries or something, but it seems that Cleanse Rise is the flavor for FactSet. I probably would have even liked to see an Ignite or something go down instead, but Teleport would have been really cool. The flavor, yes.
The current flavor. Is that just because they're named FactSet, so like the Fs are kind of cool, or?
No, that's actually just the word that popped into my head as I was like sifting through my mind trying to find the proper verb or adjective.
And that's an adjective.
That is an adjective. Listen, you had your fair share of mess ups in languaging before. Now let my linguistics fumble a little bit.
I want to use flavor as a verb though. How would that be used?
How would flavor be used as a verb?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, I went to the ice cream parlor to try to pick up some ice cream, but I had to flavor all of the different kinds in order to figure out which one I really wanted.
Flavor all the different kinds. Interesting.
Flavor all the different
And
kinds.
this
Not
is,
sample, not taste, flavor.
to me, that just sounds like you're mixing all the flavors together.
That's what I do at this place. It's like, especially those seltzer yogurt places. Oh, that's dangerous. I just mix everything together and then put peanut butter on top.
Ugh.
It's
Ugh.
delicious.
Who are you? Where do you? You must be from Canada.
Nah, it must be from Jersey.
Oh God. I mean, yay. And we're seeing skins here, and this is on the tournament realm, so they can purchase any skin they want. We see 2 out of EA compared to the 5 out of FactSet. So I don't know. Just based off skins, FactSet does have the advantage.
Based off skins, FactSet looks like they win this game. Just taking a quick look, EA not even opting to get a skin on Kog'Maw. I mean, they do have the Blade Mistress Morgana, which is the one I have, so there's props to that. Gatsby picking up I just want to call it like the Legend of Zelda ripoff Riven, because that's what it kind of looks like in-game with the little hood and everything. But 5 skins come up from FactSet, and they're all really, really good skins, so I don't know. I'm going to have to give them the slight advantage starting off with the skin war.
Yeah, so that's it. Game's over. FactSet wins.
FactSet wins.
At the 0-second mark.
Thank you for having me on. It was a very interesting game. There's a lot of turn-based, turning and everything in the combat. It was really, really tense, especially that one moment that you guys all remember. But, join us next time.
Okay, that's awkward. And we see, let's see, Ribbon starting cloth armor 5 pots, and they are heading towards their blue, which is kind of interesting. Maybe they want to invade here. They don't have that strong of a level 1 team. If they get a really nice snare off of Morgana, obviously they'll have a really strong engage, but we see, Rune Prison can be taken for Rise, for FactSet, who actually has not selected an ability yet, and Ashe will most likely have her 100% crit up by then, and are really also not picking up anything. So actually, it looks like Sona will be warding their own blue and then gathering over to help with them. So yeah, we might actually see some invasion here and some fighting. So this would be really cool to see.
Both teams really do have a jungler that could opt to take red first, but knowing that FactSet would actually go to do that, looks like EA is going to be going counter jungling. I thought Lee Sin was going to start blue, and I was going to cry about it, but
we're going to see engage here. Sorry, I got to cut you off. We're going to see engage here. Gatsby leading the charge, and he does get a really nice damage onto Hobbs, who's getting really low, but is backing out. And Lee Sin will pick up that first blood for him. EA looking really good here. They have pretty good health, and that Lee Sin does not have flash to get away, so he will be going down here if FactSet keep chasing. But a really nice snare by Morgana with Ribbon just putting out an amazing amount of CC. Does get the ignite onto Ashe, and Lee Sin picking up 2 kills now, and he is still running away and alive. And this Sona is all by herself, getting picked off really hard by his Kog'Maw, and Messiah picks up a kill here. So we see a 3-4 exchange for EA, and it looks like they will still be able to take this red buff as well. that was completely different than I thought it would go. Not gonna lie.
It was insanely different than I thought it would go too. And this Lee Sin now alive, 2 kills to 0 on that Shyvana. Shyvana is going to have to start at a different place. Her rates and red buff are going to be gone. That is a Lee Sin that has the biggest advantage in the jungle I probably have ever seen in a game of League of Legends. So if he does not gank early and really ride that advantage, I don't know what I'm going to do. I might just scream.
Yeah, he had well, how much gold does he have right now? He has 800 gold right now, so he can go back. He can buy his Razor if he wanted to, but of course, he'll obviously keep jungling. And they did blow a lot of flashes for FactSet. We see, actually, sorry, we did not see any flashes. We just see 1 flash out of Rise was burned and his Ignite. See, Ashe did use her exhaust. Sona did use her heal, and it really didn't use anything. So, Lee Sin will be going for a gank up here.
Meanwhile, on the EA side, we do have almost all the champions using at least one, if not both, of their summoners. So they do have those down.
But it was worth it, though. I mean, they got 3 kills for nothing. It was completely worth it to use that. And we see Lee Sin coming in here, ripping, hopefully getting a nice stun onto Rayleigh here, and get a nice slow from Lee Sin. She does have flash to get away, and she does do that. But Lee Sin going in for the kill with the execute from his Sonic Wave. Picks up that kill and gives Ribbon a huge advantage top lane. She will be level 3, if not 4. Well, will be level 3 before Rayleigh can even get back here. I mean, she does have teleport, obviously, and she hopefully will be popping it, or else she'll be so far behind it would be really bad for her. But this Ribbon, yep, slowly approaching level 3, and we see a little bit of action bot lane where Kog'Maw is pushing his Ashe back a little bit, but he's not really able to harass too much yet. He's kind of not, he needs the levels. He's one of those AD carries that really needs level 6 to really do anything.
And that Lee Sin having as many kills in the game as minutes have gone by at this point. That's never a good thing if you're going to be on FactSet side. That Lee Sin has complete dominance over the map right now. Shyvana going through her jungle is always going to have to be wary of where he is, let alone trying to cover her own lanes when they are getting ganked. So that Lee Sin's going to be a huge force to be reckoned with as we go. It's still in the laning phase of the game, even as it continues into the middle stage of the game too. That Lee Sin, huge advantage.
I want to point out, Aurelia did not burn her teleport to get back to top lane, so she will be a little bit behind. We see level 4 Riven, and she will be able to hit level 3 off all these creeps. And we see that Lee Sin did give his blue buff 2 Morganas, so she will have a really big advantage in middle now, especially because since Shyvana had to take her blue to keep up in levels. So hopefully this Morgana can really take advantage of that and really shut down this rise. And we see, sorry, Kog'Maw was actually being a little aggressive bottom. He's getting really close to the tower. I thought he was trying to dive, and one of them was low, but I was wrong. I was mistaken.
We've seen two very aggressive Kog'Maw plays coming out of all the games we've seen so far today with that Kog'Maw on the bottom lane. Maybe he doesn't need as much protecting as everybody says he does. Maybe he's actually can be played a little aggressively, although that Ashe and Sona poke, it's not really coming into huge effect right now. That Soraka must be doing a really good job keeping that Kog'Maw all healed up. He's actually able to spam the spells as well because of the infuse.
Yeah, I just want to point out, this is the third game OptimusTom and I are casting. We did 2 matches earlier for TGF for Go for LOL, so that's what we're referring to, because in both those matches we saw Kog'Maw being played bottom lane, so it's kind of that's the backstory if anyone was wondering.
Yeah, just no sleep for us. We just continue casting, and all kind of blends together into one big game.
Oh jeez, I've had that happen before. And we see Shyvana here at double golems. Looks like she might go for a gank on this Riven to maybe blow this Riven's. Actually, Flash is down for Riven, so they could potentially get this kill if she wanted to come, but she's just going to keep jungling, catch up on levels, and this Morgana doing a really good job harassing this Rise back, who does not have his tier yet, and we actually see Lisa in a gank bottom. I did not catch that, unfortunately, but they do pick up that kill on Sona, and that's what I was saying earlier. She has no Flash, so she cannot get away. If you get a nice initiate from Lee Sin, then she will die. Like, that's just how it's going to go, at least until she's level 6. And this Ashe is being really aggressive, pushing up really far, going to take a lot of damage from this Kog'Maw. And she will most likely have to back as well, because Sona, there's no point for Sona healing her back up. She might as well go back by... She does have 800 gold, so she could get boots if she wanted to back right now. But it looks like she might actually stay then.
The Ashe being very risky, especially after the fact that Sona was not around at that little point where she decided to be very aggressive. That Kog'Maw and Soraka, very surprised they actually didn't pick up a kill on Ashe. Ashe, I guess, having a little bit more HP than they had accounted for, but that Ashe trying to be super aggressive without her support, that Kog'Maw being super aggressive with his support. Like I said, the bottom lane's a lot more interesting than you think it would be.
Dat Ashe. Sorry, I had to say it. I had to say it. And we see Lee Sin here is actually going to be counter jungling, maybe taking Shyvana's red buff again. Or Zyrul, sorry, it's hard to say names when you're on the fly. But I remember last game he did a really good job of making sure to counter jungle as much as possible. And he really wants to maybe get that red buff to kind of keep Shyvana really behind, because she cannot gank at all if she doesn't have red buff. I mean, to begin with, she sucks at, or that champion sucks at ganking, but to not have red buff will just be, you know, that the straw on. I can't think of an analogy. Straw on the counts back, last nail on the coffin.
She doesn't have the hard CC that a lot of other junglers have. Like, even that Lee Sin has an ability to teleport in close to the champion he wants to gank and close distance. Red buff on him is extremely good because he has the ability to have the passive slow from the red buff. Same thing with that Shyvana. She's able to speed up with burnout. Having the passive slow from that red buff really adds to her ganks because her skill set really doesn't have anything overall to do it with.
And we actually just missed a kill here on top. It looks like Riven did pick up the kill on Aurelia with his Ignite on tower. Unfortunately, I missed that one because I was checking on bottom lane since Ashe was getting extremely low. But Lee Sin, if you check out his items, did a really good job. He does have a pink ward, as we can see, in his inventory. So he's taken that advantage he has, and he actually just did get CV'd from FactSet. So he's taking that advantage he has and really trying to work with it. He's buying pink wards, buying wards to kind of help out his support, help out his middle and top. And they do pick up that red buff, just like I was saying earlier. So now Shyvana getting a little even farther behind now, not having any of her red buffs, and Lee Sin is actually almost halfway to level 6. So hopefully we'll see some more ganks. And he's actually that one lonely wraith is left up, and he decides to leave it.
Yeah, he's like, I want to give her a little bit more chance to come back with a full wraith camp. No, I'm just gonna let it sit there, and I'm gonna put her further and further behind. She doesn't have 4 wraiths to kill, and only that one before like the minute and 20-second timer or whatever the heck it is gonna be resetting that wraith camp. So just even doing little things like that to put Shyvana farther and farther behind even despite the disadvantage he has now. But I really like the acquisition of wards on top of the Wriggles Lantern. He has such a huge lead in the jungle. He has 4 kills and 1 assist. There's no reason not to help out the rest of his team by giving them complete vision of everywhere he's running around the map, because he is running around both sides of the jungle and basically has complete map dominance at this point.
I want to point out Sona has actually been getting extremely low just from eating those Kog'Maw ultimates, and because he has the Soraka with him, he's able to keep his men up long enough to do it. And the Soraka actually is leveling her heal and infuse, so it's 3 for her heal, 2 for her infuse. So she's not trying to go strictly just defeat Kog'Maw mana, but I would expect to see maybe a couple more levels infused just so he can spam away, because this Sona just drops when he gets hit by it. And Sona is actually about to hit level 6, and Ashe is about to hit level 6 as well. So we might actually see a quick fight happen here at bottom. There is Sona's level 6. Ashe will be getting level 6 off with 1 more minion. And I would like for her to sit in that bush and hide, and not let Kog'Maw know when she's 6, because then they can initiate from the bushes on her, or onto EA.
Ooh, that would have been a very, very sneaky little tactic. But that Soraka opting to go with the heal first, I figured maybe she thought she needed to protect that Kog'Maw just a little bit more, but the harassment that they're putting out right now, I agree with you right there. I wouldn't be surprised if she decided to start leveling Infuse and maxing that before actually maxing that heal, just to be as aggressive, or feed Kog'Maw the mana he needs to be as aggressive in the bottom lane, because they're just doing a really good job pushing this Ashe and Sona back to their tower almost since the beginning of the game.
Yeah, Kog'Maw is up quite a bit CS because of how aggressive he is. Ashe, unfortunately, missing her arrow onto that Kog'Maw, and he is able to escape that. That would have been really bad for him, but however, he still has Flash Up, still has Cleanse Up to get rid of that Ashe ult, as well as his Sona ult. And if you check out CS, I was trying to point out is that Kog'Maw's up to about 70 CS to this Ashe's 44, so this aggression and keeping Ashe having to last hit on her tower is really working out for him. And this Morgana doing some really heavy damage to Ryze in middle, who have to back out now, and will be looks like picking up Merc Treads and hopefully building towards his Catalyst. He does have 200 gold, so he actually cannot pick up anything at the moment, but he needs the healing and will come back to lane.
How many stacks of mana does that Ryze have on his Tear of the Goddess right now?
He's currently at 48. He's at 48 mana.
So you've recently went back to get that. Hasn't even had that item for a decent amount of time. Looks like he might have actually picked up that no magic mantle before the Tear then, just to try to survive in that lane. Morgana doing an excellent harass. As I mentioned before, that Ryze is able to really harass back onto Morgana as easily because of that black shield.
Yeah, he really needs to do something. Like he could be harassing so much more right now though, because he has blue buff, and that will work out for him just because it stacks his Tier, and he can really try to help push that Morgana out a little bit, because he does have more damage than she does. Once her snare goes off, so her dark binding goes off in her pool, she's got nothing. I mean, she has her ultimate if she has to, but there's no consistent damage out of her. So, Ryze should be taking advantages and pushing and being a little aggressive. And we see, actually, EA trying to go for this dragon here, but FactSet does have a ward on it. And we see Sona kind of just standing by, waiting for a team to come. Ashe does not have her arrow up, but is coming up in a second or two. And maybe we'll see a potential steal, but Lee Sin does take it out. So that is the first dragon going to EA, really widening their gold lead. They're up about 6.5k gold. And this is not looking good for FactSet so far. They really need to pull something out here to actually kind of get back in it, because it currently is 6-0 for EA.
As I mentioned, they do have 2 champions that are a little bit more towards the mid game once they get a little farm in them. That Aurelia, having her farm hindered up top, is really keeping her out of this early game aggression. Having to face off against that Riven, who has superior mobility. Yeah, that Aurelia can really jump in and out by using her little dash move, but that Riven just has superior mobility, being able to use Broken Wings 3 times to position herself in fights, and on top of that dealing extra damage.
In the middle we see some action, and actually Morgana made a really nice dark binding onto that Ryze, and he will be going down to Morgana's ultimate. Lee Sin followed up with a Sonic Wave, and actually Dragon kicked him, or is it Dragon Rage? It is Dragon Rage. Kicked him in the face while he was snared, so he actually did not, he moved back to tower with that, and they are able to pick up that kill on Ryze and take his blue buff, so Morgana should have a fresh new blue buff. Okay, unfortunately it's not. Ryze actually ran out of it at the last second, and he does take out middle tower, and we'll be roaming a little bit now, and I'm kind of surprised to see not much action from middle, to bot lane, or to any ganking. It's strictly just been junglers, and Morgana has such a strong gank with her ultimate, and she's able to push the lane so quickly that she can gank without, being noticed. She can just go missing, and, Ryze won't really notice it.
I think it's mainly because this Kog'Maw and Soraka have had Ashe and Sona backed up against the tower and continually taking a huge and bigger and increasing CS lead because of it. I don't think that Morgana really has anything to do with going down in the bottom. I think she's just actually she wouldn't have the range to actually do much besides maybe fire a binding and snare him against the tower or something. So instead, we see her. This is the second time Morgana's gone up to steal those rates and help out Lee Sin taking that red buff. So she is helping out her jungler, getting even further ahead while hindering the other team's jungler even more. So like I said, FactSet has Aurelia and Shyvana and Ashe, three champions that really need a little bit more farm and time to get going in this game. And with the extreme deficit that they have right now, 7 kills to 0, already down a tower and down by about 7,000 gold this early, they're going to have a little bit of an uphill battle. But if that Aurelia can start getting a little bit more farm, and she's catching up to that Riven, only about 10 CS behind her right now, and going to be completing her Wriggles Lantern very, very soon.
Sorry, I'm seeing bottom. Ashe actually missing her arrow again on Kog'Maw. Bigabun's just running away. That Shyvana does not have red buff and no way to slow him, so he obviously will be getting away quite easily here. And this Ashe is even really low for some reason, and them three are actually going to back out. And we're talking about middle ganking bottom. I like to see Rise go bottom because they have 3 snares / stuns between them, and that means there's no way that they're going to get away. And it pretty much like a guaranteed kill every time he goes down there if he can get down there safely. And they have EA has an award here, which really provides the coverage that Rise could go through. No ward there means he can just run right through middle into here and head down the bot lane to Tribush and really get those easy kills off. And unfortunately, he's not really going for that at the moment. And we see Lee Sin, who actually does have an Oracle, so there will be no vision for FactSet now once he gets around to each lane.
Definitely. And that Rise going into the bottom lane to gank might be what they really need. That Ashe seems to be a little hesitant on her arrows, actually shooting where she thinks people are going to go instead of she's trying to predict the movements of Kog'Maw, which isn't the best right now, especially if she's backed up against her tower.
We start to see a teleport here. We see Aurelia teleporting in to help kill this Kog'Maw, and she does get some attacks on him, and hopefully we'll be going for the slower. Kog'Maw does pop her flash, and she does Q in to get him, but he does pop cleanse and a black shield. Morgana going to be ulting Ashe and this Aurelia. This Aurelia will be going down lane. Ashe get away. Kog'Maw does pick up that kill, and we see Rise actually getting attacked by Lee Sin here and getting chased away, but the Shyvana is kind of overextended all by herself, and if Lee Sin get a nice kick back onto her, but does kick her away, unfortunately. Even though they are able to get the kill, that would have been really nice if he kicked her back into his own team to get that guarantee kill. Even though we saw he did get it, but really good job by EA there. That teleport was really, it was crucial. It was a really good job, but that Morgana just came from middle and was prepared for it. She was really did a really good job counter ganking that.
I actually didn't see where Aurelia was teleporting from, so it could have just been Riven said, hey, in the middle of my lane, Aurelia's teleporting. You guys might want to be heads up on something. And apparently they did, because that Kog'Maw got extremely, extremely low. But we see, once again, taking that cleanse, as we were talking about in the champion selection, wound up working out extremely well for him. He was able to burn flash, still got the slow on him, cleansed out of there, and was able to just get behind that Morgana. Morgana popped the ultimate and protected the Kog'Maw, just like she's supposed to do.
Very well said. Sorry. And I'm looking at CS, and we have Kog'Maw with 122 to Ashe's 65. So he's almost doubled Ashe's CS. And we really need to see some more CS of Ashe, because she's one of those champions you have to get an Infinity's Edge and a Last Whisper on. Or she's useless, because she kites so well, and having Last Whisper and that IE against any tanky character, she's able to kill them. But she's just so far behind right now. She only has 100 gold, so she'll be working for a while to pick up anything. And it looks like she's actually going for her Zeal first, which, in my opinion, is not really the item you kind of want to go for at this part of the game.
No, you're definitely going to want to go for more damage, especially playing from behind position like you are. Any increase in damage is going to be a better increase than attack speed at this point. Maybe if she was at an even lane or ahead, I could see the Zeal being more of an okay choice, but right now, she really needs to start farming up, maybe even getting a couple more levels in that Hawk Shot as opposed to some of the other skills that she'd be leveling up, just to really get a little extra farm to get back into this item game. Because Ashe, as you said, one of those champions that really does need a little bit more on the item build in order to start dealing a lot more damage and be the range carry that the team is going to need her to be.
And this Kog'Maw actually did pick up his BF sword, so he is in a really good position in terms of AD carry versus AD carry. And we do see Dragon up, and Zyro is actually going to be going for a hero on Lee Sin to get the second Dragon for the game for EA. Shyvana is here wanting to try to contest it, but she knows that they only have 3 members at most there, and that Ashe is so underfarmed she can't really do anything at the moment. So she just backs off, lets it go, and EA is up to a 9-0 lead with 2 Dragons and a 10k gold lead. So it's looking really good on their part. If they keep this up, this will definitely be a victory for them.
I would have liked to see that Ash trying to fire an arrow onto the dragon to steal it with the splash damage, but the hawk shot coming up just a couple seconds too late for that.
Sorry, I see some actually going to top. Riven actually pushing this Aurelia. Does some really nice Q combos onto her and is stunned, and pops that Ignite onto her early to burn her down as quick as possible so his ultimate will do as much damage as he possibly can. And we see Kog'Maw here overextend a little bit, gets hit by a Sona ult, and Shyvana's there to kind of help out. Ash getting a really nice arrow onto him as well, and Kog'Maw's kind of just trying to run away. He's got no heals left for him, and he will be going down here. Shyvana pulling off a really nice gank, and Sona getting a really nice ultimate off with Ash, and that's the kind of teamwork they're going to need if they want to come back. They really need that synergy between all their ultimates to really shut down EA.
I would have liked to see that Kog'Maw kill being quote-unquote donated to the range carry in that situation. Shyvana, does need the kill as well because she's obviously behind from the jungle from what we saw. And if you just panned over there, I saw that Lee Sin and Riven and Morgana once again taking Shyvana's red buff, cutting out the factor of that one thing she needs to make her ganks go from powerful to extremely OP. So taking out that factor once again, they might get this bottom lane tower here. I'm a couple seconds behind you, but looks like they're backing off now.
Yeah,
so they're not going to get that, but that red buff once again being stolen by EA, and they're just really pressing every single advantage that they can, making sure that they get more ahead in this game.
And Shyvana, actually want to point out, with all this counter drilling that's been happening, she's only level 9 compared to Lee Sin, who's level 10 and halfway to level 11, who has an Oracle and has just been running around clearing all of these wards. Lee Sin's made 5,500 gold so far compared to Shyvana's 3,500 gold, so Lee Sin is definitely in a good position right now. And EA's, even though they are behind, they're doing a really good job with all these wards. I'm really proud of what they're doing, because even though they're behind, they have to have this vision. They have to sacrifice the money for it, or else they will, lose. And Shyvana actually coming in here for this kill on Lee Sin, but he does safeguard away to that ward. Will be coming back in to help out this Riven, who gets some really nice damage onto Shyvana. And Shyvana just wants to back out, not really force anything here, because they could potentially both die, and not to mention all 3 die, because Ash actually was coming up as well. And we're seeing a little bit of counter jungling here. I don't really know what happened. Where did this blue buff go? I'm trying to check it out, but I'm seeing FactSet's blue not on any champion at the moment. So it looks like it was given to someone and then just... Actually, sorry, Ryze did take it, but he did not clear the camp. So that is unfortunately not good for FactSet. They really need to keep that blue buff on Ryze so he can get his tier stacked up. He's currently at plus 392 mana, and he definitely needs to catch up.
Yeah, he actually opted for his Glacial Shroud first over the Catalyst, going for a little bit extra armor because that Riven, that Lee Sin, that Kog'Maw going to be dealing majority of the damage. So he's actually going to be building that Frozen Heart first, it looks like, if not just getting the Glacial Shroud first, to really compensate the fact he's going to be a little bit tankier against the champions. He is going to get the little extra mana that he needs to start dealing a decent amount of damage. When that Tear of the Goddess starts kicking in with a little bit more mana, he's going to start making a little bit of a difference in those team fights, but... Taking a quick look at EA's side, they have 2 Merc Treads on their team, but not a whole lot of magic resistance. A lot of people opting for more HP, as that Kog'Maw had triple Doran's Blade, but sold one for a pickaxe on one of his trips back. So
yeah, he's rebuilding that IE. Looks like at a Kog'Maw, which is amazing with his attack range. And like we're seeing Nunu earlier, just having that IE and a Nunu, it's like a free Fana Dancer. You don't even need one. And one thing I want to point out was that we do see, like you're saying, the Glacial Shadow Rise, and he does have that, which is a really smart move on his part to build that for the extra armor, but also the cooldown reduction, which it doesn't really get noticed too much by people, but it does a lot for Rise. Just because your combo, if you're trying to single target combo someone down, you have a set rotation of spells you need to use, and if you don't have that CDR, it creates these really long lulls in between spells.
Yes, it's also going to increase the cooldown of his Q, which already has an extremely low cooldown. So the more Qs he can throw out, that's the main damage spell too. Right. So the more Qs Ryze can throw out, the more he's going to start doing in this team fight. On top of the fact that it's going to be packing a little extra punch because of all that extra mana.
And we see all 5 members of FactSet here trying to gank this Kog'Maw Soraka. FactSet did have a ward here in this bush, so they did see him all coming and just backed out, being very smart. This Riven is actually kind of stagnating her lane. Which, in my opinion, isn't that smart, because Aurelia is roaming around, and if they're all trying to group up like that, you can easily push down the second tower, which will provide a lot of pressure. And as we saw in those TGF games, having that split push while 4 of your members push another lane is extremely strong.
Yes, it is. This Riven's actually not even taking teleport. Aurelia, on the other hand, does have teleport, so that extra mobility from Aurelia might be what the team needs. As you said, FactSet was doing an excellent job of warding, despite the fact that Lee Sin does have this Oracles. If they are able to finally take him out and get rid of that Oracles elixir, they're constant warding and keeping tabs on EA for the Aurelia to really roam around with Shyvana, could start spiraling the game into their favor, as those ganks and that little bit of a map advantage is really what they need to get themselves back in the game at this point.
Yeah, it's that's just the unsung hero of this game, in my opinion. Those wars. I mean, it's painful because you know you're gonna lose them, but you just need it. You have to have it, and they're doing a really good job. This really actually might get caught off guard here. She does decide to. She's kind of playing with them. I don't know. She didn't actually have a ward there, knowing where they were, so she's kind of playing it by ear. Actually, sorry, she did have a ward in there. Actually, I don't know if that's a new ward, but we see we're gonna land a nice dark binding on Shyvana, and it's Lee Sin kind of getting caught, but he will have a ward to hop over that wall if he needs to. But he is vouching to kind of keep it in his gear, or keep it in his item set. And we see Morgana coming in here, landing the nice stun on Ashe. She could potentially burst her down if she wanted to with her ultimate and her ignite, because they both are up. But instead, she kind of wants to back out and not really give FactSet a chance to get back in this game. And in the meantime, we're seeing Soraka and Kog'Maw actually taking out this dragon. So this will be the third dragon for EA, where FactSet cannot actually contest it. And if anything, they maybe want to try Baron here, try to force EA to actually engage on top of them for a 5-on-3 situation, but they decide to back out and go back towards their middle, and this Shyvana maybe getting the first red buff of her game, and this Lee Sin does notice it and goes in. He does steal it with a smite, and Shyvana will just go down insanely fast. We're going to get the nice ulti on the two of them. Does vouch to stay for Ashe to try to get the kill onto her, and she does pick it up, so really good job to stay on that Ashe, really keep her out of this game instead of switching over to that Aurelia. Actually, yeah, Aurelia, I believe that was the other person linked to her ultimate, and it looks like that should be going for Baron here.
Oh, that poor Shyvana. She will never see a red buff this game at all. She tries. She's really trying, but she's not going to get it ever.
Yeah, Zyra doing a really good job kind of jungling, and we kind of need to see an Oracle out of FactSet. And FactSet actually trying to engage here for some reason. It really will easily be picked off here as she is all alone. And the Sona taking, wow, that Sona just dropping in a matter of seconds because of that Kog'Maw, who does flash over that wall, and so does that Lee Sin. And we'll be able to pick up this kill on Ryze as well. So now it turned in pretty much to a 5-0 exchange for them, and they will be able to pick up this Baron, unless this Shyvana, who does have Smite up, might be able to steal it. However, they have no vision to see it.
They really don't. That Shyvana, her Wiggles Lance is actually on cooldown. I don't believe will be up in time. She actually doesn't even look like to be going over by the Baron buff to say like, hey, we're going to try to steal it or anything. She's just content in the middle lane, pushing out and trying to farm, going in the opposite direction of the jungle. So pretty much a free Baron after that delayed 5-0 in favor of EA, as they've just taken every single advantage that they had in this game and slowly gone with it. That Lee Sin early counter jungling, stealing a red buff off that Shyvana throughout the rest of the game, making sure she never picks up another red buff as long as she's living, even when she's dying. Just pressing that harass in the bottom lane with that Kog'Maw and Soraka, riding the advantage against the Ashe, who unfortunately does need a little bit more of an item build on her, whereas Kog'Maw has some spells that he's able to use to burst her down and keep her pushed back, and that Soraka is going to be able to heal her back up. Lee Sin ganking the top constantly, keep Aurelia down against Riven, giving Riven an advantage in that lane, even be able to go 4-0 at this point. So slowly taking all those advantages, getting every single dragon this game, making sure they're constantly in team fight position, and then taking a Baron after a delayed 5-0. EA, as we said, you know, having all the same icon, they have excellent teamwork and excellent cohesion.
That was a mouthful.
Yes, it was.
And,
that's okay. I can talk for days.
Can you really? I want to test this, and Morgana actually does have her Rod of Ages built. It is fully stacked, and she does have a Rabadon, so she's going to be put on a stream and one of her, and she will be building a Zonius as well, it looks like, and she does have her Chain Vest. And as blue buff going to Kog'Maw, now, I mean, it was bad enough he had Infuse, but now he has a blue buff, so he can definitely spam forever in lane, or spam forever to harass. And we've seen this Riven, who has a Bloodthirster. It's not fully stacked yet, but it will provide a lot of lifesteal for it, and she is building her GA next to kind of completely be unkillable. And this Ryze actually did vouch, or go to vouch, wow, what the hell is that even?
Vouch?
Yeah.
Flavor.
Does get his Frozen Heart instead of going for his Catalyst, so he will be really hurt by not being able to get that early Banshees or that early Rod of Ages. And we're seeing EA just push. They know they have a stronger fight. They're so tanky. This Riven actually going in with this Lee Sin, taking a huge amount of damage. Just we're going to get a nice ultimate onto 3 or 4 members of FactSet right now. Called that a little late. And does pick up that kill on Shyvana, as Morgana was tanking the tower the entire time. But the insane amount of AoE they had there, that Lee Sin and Riven just was able to just destroy them, keeping them slowed, and not to mention the Morgana's pool. And she did ultimate really late on that one, but they do pick up another ace, and that should be, yeah, there's the forfeit, and that is the game.
Oh man, extremely good showing coming out of EA, as they saw that they had all the teamwork they needed to really make it like a very, very good fight and make everything go slowly into their favor. FactSet was doing a great job keeping up at wards, keeping tabs on where they were going, but EA just took that little nuisance of those little wards. Lee Sin got an Oracle's Elixir going around the entire map, clearing out wards constantly, and that kind of made FactSet really go into this situation where it was, okay, well, we need to go towards EA, and then EA was just kind of lying and waiting. We saw that happen at a couple Dragon engagements. We saw it happen at that Baron engagement. We saw it happen at that red buff where Shyvana was finally trying to take her first red buff of the game, and then Lee Sin, Morgana, and Riven just collapsed on it. I think every single red buff Lee Sin stole, Morgana and Riven were slowly on his heels, just making sure he's got it, was protected enough, and just bursted it down quick enough, too, to make sure that he took it, and there was no way that he could get out of there or not get out of there without taking any damage.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of how FactSet could have changed that. I mean, a nice Oracle, an early Oracle out of Shyvana to counter that Lee Sin's Oracle would have been really nice, but she was already so far behind that she, like, I mean, even with what she has right now, she was still being taken down in a matter of seconds. She was not tanky enough, so she would obviously lose that Oracle right away, but I don't know, just they needed some sort of Oracle, I think, to actually kind of counter all the vision and maybe ward her own red buff or keep tabs on when it's going to be up, because that really does affect a lot. At least Sen got pretty far ahead in levels. He has 14 compared to Shyvana, who has 11. And I don't know, just the wording was great out of FactSet. I really love the wording. But that Oracle, I think they really needed to kind of turn that game into potential, like a turnaround.
And as you mentioned before, that middle lane, not being able to go bottom or top to really help out with ganks, that Rise, if he was able to lay down that rune prison, not runic prison this time, the rune prison down on either a bottom lane or the top lane to help out that Aurelia, who unfortunately was just constantly harassed by that Lee Sin and Riven going back and forth on her, picking up a couple kills for Riven, a kill or two for Lee Sin in those exchanges as well. Just if that Rise had gone up to help gank one of those lanes, even on the bottom lane to push Kog'Maw and Soraka off of that tower to give Ashe and Sona some breathing room, I think the other lanes might have been able to slowly take a little bit more of a handle on their own situation. And, you know, Rise might not have been as farmed up as he is. He did have 150 CS, Morgana with a 192, still coming out ahead in that exchange. And he might have actually not been able to finish that Frozen Heart at the same kind of speed that he did. But I think it would have overall kind of pushed the lanes out a little bit more, given FactSet just a little bit of breathing room. And like, as you said, that Rise could have made a difference in one or two of those ganks and picked up some kills for FactSet too. And that would have really started to turn the tide of the game in their favor.
Yeah, Rise leaving lane to gank and having Shyvana actually hold his lane for him would help this Shyvana get the money she needed to get back in the game, and not to mention the levels to kind of get back in the game. So that really would have helped out, and Rise could potentially, like, he's much more deadly in a gank than Shyvana is. So he definitely could have pulled off a gank top. Like, that would have been a kill. I mean, preferably it would have been a kill. And bottom as well, with having 2 stuns out of Ashe and Sona, that would have been pretty much a guaranteed kill as well, because at least you'll blow his flash and cleanse, because you have 3 different ways to CC him, and if they timed it correctly, his cleanse will be off cooldown, and he'll be forced to pop that flash, which really gives Ashe that advantage, since her arrow will be off cooldown in about like 60, 70 seconds to kind of fight again, since you won't have that cleanse to get out, and she could take him. But unfortunately, she got set really far behind, only having 121 CS compared to Kog'Maw's 198. Squeak.
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 It's just you and the squeaks today.
Sorry, I need to. As you hear my mechanical keyboard and how sexy it sounds. But yeah.
That Black Widow.
So good. And I think that is actually it. This will be up on demand if you guys want to watch it again. Thanks to OptimusTom for failing and not having the tournament round downloaded. But at least watching the stream and following that and casting, you could see his Twitter up on the overlay that I had up. And as well, you'll be able to see his YouTube when you go there, and I guess in the video info section, you'll be able to check out his YouTube as well. And he has been doing, if you guys haven't noticed, actually, let me have you explain what you've been doing every weekday.
Every weekday? Oh, well, ladies and gentlemen, I have a thing I like to call OptimusTom's Battle Arena, which started as a Monday night gig, but with the recent onset of a lot of tournaments and casters wanting to come in and everything going on in the world of League of Legends, I decided to up it to 4 or 5 nights a week, where we are going to be going through Monday through Friday every night, starting at about 8 or 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Usually depends on when people can get on.
The worst standard time.
My Twitter for that. Whatever, it's the best standard time. But anyway, we're going to be doing in-house 5v5s casted by myself and other League of Legends casters, where you guys basically get to show off your stuff, either against people I have on my friends list I've gotten from teams. You know, I have some pro players and some non-pro players. You know, I have teams that are in the Go for LOL tournaments. I have obviously other casters on my list, like but I love you and friends of him. But also, you know, just friends of mine and people throughout Reddit who have added on there. We have a lot of fun just casting these matches, having awesome 5 vs 5 in-houses that we do usually like 3 games a night or something like that. And then Thursday nights, I've been trying to do a celebrity battle arena where I get in a team of not only pro players, but casters and community members from not only League of Legends, but the realms of StarCraft 2, Magic the Gathering, which I dabble in a little bit as well, and the fighting game community coming in and playing against the 5 guys from the chat. So you guys have a little bit of a chance to take on like the big names and just the people that, you know, you usually used to watching on stream. You could, you know, gank them in the bottom lane and really just like laugh at them that way. But we actually had 4 of the 5 members of Reflex on at one point, and then Ranhurt, co-host of the Trinity Force podcast, rounded out the team of Reflex versus Ranhurt against a team of 5 people that was in the chat room, and Reflex lost. It was kind of fun, but it was a lot of fun to cast. We do a lot of community interaction that way too. There's like a Reddit thread up. You can find it on my Twitter. We do it every single night starting at 8 or 9 p.m. So you can just stay tuned to that, and it's a lot of fun. And I think we got you roped into one without you knowing about it one time.
Shh. No one needs to know about that.
Oh, it's up on the
Cassiopeia
YouTube.
Tarek play. No one needs to know about that.
Cassiopeia Tarek bot lane. It was OP.
It didn't work out.
No, unfortunately it didn't, but it's all up on YouTube if you want to relive it.
Except the one with me. That one's gonna be taken down.
We'll see about that one. Depends what standard time's the best.
All right. Well, I guess that is it for this cast. I hope you guys all enjoyed. And why don't you go ahead and hit that GG button, and we'll cut off with that.
Ah, you love this button.
A little bit. And we'll see you next time.